In the quiet stillness of dusk, place 2 bulbs of garlic upon the table and simply observe. One is hurriedly purchased from a brightly lit supermarket shelf, fragile, airy, and pale, its cloves shriveled within as if they had never fully come into their own. The other is unearthed from the corner of an Amish farmer's garden, heavy, as solid as a stone, its skin pulled taut and 3 times the size of that commercial commodity. It is a masterpiece of Mother Earth that commands anyone to pause and gaze in quiet awe. The vast chasm between these 2 bulbs is absolutely not the result of blind luck, nor the gentle favor of the weather, and it certainly requires not a single drop of expensive chemical fertilizer. The power to dictate such majestic size rests entirely within 8 quiet decisions, 8 ancient agricultural rituals preserved by traditional farmers across the centuries. And tragically, these are the exact 8 rituals that the hurried rhythm of modern agriculture has carelessly erased from every gardening manual. Why does this profound difference exist? Let us look at how the commercial system operates. A colossal bulb of garlic exploding with flavor, capable of keeping flawlessly for an entire year in a dark root cellar, and endlessly dividable to be replanted into eternity, seems to directly contradict the cycle of rapid consumerism. Since the 1970s, as the era of industrial agriculture expanded its empire, they have not optimized heirloom seeds for size or flavor. They have optimized them to fit seamlessly into machinery for rigid uniformity and for speed. They steer you toward returning to the supermarket every week, rather than storing provisions for the long winter. They wish to maintain the habit of consumption, rather than encourage the buyer to become a self-sufficient producer. But despite these industrial hybridization methods, the sacred botanical traits of the garlic plant remain entirely unchanged. The potential for an explosive harvest always slumbers peacefully within the fragile, papery skin of every clove, waiting only for the right signal of awakening. Today, we will turn back the buried pages of history and learn how the farmers of old transformed a humble clove into a magnificent source of energy. The first secret to awakening this colossal size lies in understanding nature's winter clock. Garlic is not a creature of gentle warmth. It carries within its core the biological memory of the Ice Age. To ensure its survival, creation encoded a mechanism deep within its DNA known as vernalization. This mechanism demands that the clove endure a period of bitter freezing cold, typically between 400 and 800 hours, resting below 4 degrees Celsius, to flip the genetic switch that commands the cells to divide. Denied this chilling temperature, the garlic will struggle to form cloves. It will often grow into a single, lonely, round bulb. Large-scale agriculture often sows seeds en masse, surrendering the process of division entirely to the whims of the weather and settling for stunted harvests. But the elder Amish farmers do not yield to chance. They seize control of that physiological clock. If the winter arrives late, or if they dwell in a temperate climate, they enact an intentional, active vernalization. By placing their seed garlic into a cold cellar for 6 to 8 weeks prior to planting, they send a deliberate signal to the garlic's DNA, deceiving it into believing it has just survived a freezing winter. When that chilled, icy clove is finally buried into the warming spring earth, it erupts with an incredibly fierce and rapid rhythm of growth. The plant rushes to divide its cells for reproduction, architecting those colossal, heavy bulbs. Once the seed is awakened, we step into the second mistake, planting depth. Open any popular gardening blog or mainstream manual, and they all advise you to bury the clove a mere 2 inches, about 5 centimeters deep. That is a rigid, rote standard engineered solely to optimize the path of the plow. Commercial garlic planters are only designed to push the clove just beneath the topsoil. If forced to dig deeper, the machine strains, consumes far more fuel, and its operational speed plummets. Thus, that shallow depth became the standard, not because it benefits the garlic, but because it accommodates the machine. The Amish farming philosophy stands in stark contrast. Their quiet counsel is, plant deep from 4 to 6 inches. When you nestle the clove at such a profound depth, the plant is compelled to engineer a colossal, unyielding root system to push its way up to find the light. This deep anchor grants 3 magnificent survival privileges. First, the root zone rests safely below the frost line, absolutely shielded from the relentless freeze and thaw cycles that can sever fragile surface roots. Second, it taps into deep, subterranean water veins and rare mineral strata that the easily parched topsoil can never provide. Third, and most importantly, the heavy compressing weight of the earth above acts as a natural physical press. As the bulb swells deep beneath the loam, this pressure tightly compresses the skins, forging dense, solid cloves with no empty voids for air or mold to seep in. Modern agriculture shies away from deep planting because mechanical harvesting becomes arduous, but shallow planting leaves the garlic frail, shallowly rooted, and perpetually dependent on irrigation and chemical support just to survive. And when we speak of nourishment, we encounter the third secret, the illusion of nitrogen and the enduring value of phosphorus. Modern agriculture often places an obsessive focus on nitrogen. Nitrogen delivers instantaneous visual gratification. Scatter nitrogen, and mere days later, the leaves will surge upward, broad and deeply green. But for garlic, nitrogen can orchestrate a fatal imbalance. If you flood the earth with nitrogen, the plant focuses entirely on growing a radiant, lush canopy, entirely forgetting its sacred duty to store energy in the root. The result is a breathtaking bed of green foliage, hiding a disappointingly meager bulb beneath. The Amish philosophy of nourishment aims directly at the root, and they choose phosphorus. Since the days of old, they have utilized aged animal bones or sprinkled a handful of natural bone meal straight into the bottom of the trench just before laying the clove down. Unlike nitrogen, which is easily washed away by the rains, phosphorus is incredibly stable and rarely travels. It rests quietly exactly where you scatter it. The moment the garlic root pushes out, it instantly absorbs this dense source of phosphorus. This biological signal commands the plant to focus all its vital force on forging a dense, heavy, and colossal root network beneath the earth. It creates stout, robust bases ready to pump energy downward. The bone meal method is gradually fading from commercial agriculture because it fails to generate a continuous cycle of consumption, yet it spares you from the endless expense of purchasing liquid nitrogen supplements. Dear friend, as we reflect together upon the gentle heartbeat of Mother Earth and the quiet endurance of traditional farmers, perhaps you too can feel a soft, purifying stillness washing over your mind. Learning to cultivate a magnificent bulb of garlic is not merely an agricultural technique. It is a journey back to true self-reliance and the most original values of life. If you are someone who constantly yearns to cast off the deafening noise of the consumer world, to cultivate a healing garden with your own hands, then we are walking the same tranquil path. Please take a peaceful moment to gently press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your rustic, heartfelt comments about the young shoots emerging in the corner of your garden are the warmest companionship, giving me the strength to continue sharing these traditional ecological philosophies, returning the heirloom seeds of freedom safely back into your hands. Returning to the garden as the garlic shoots stretch upward, they must brave the bitter, freezing winter. In industrial fields, when the bare earth is left exposed to the howling north winds, this exposure plunges the plant into severe stress, forcing it to rush into flowering and seeding to preserve its lineage, rather than accumulating energy to swell the bulb. The Amish solution is the fourth secret, the heavy mulch blanket. Immediately after sowing, they drape the entire bed in a thick 6 to 8 inch carpet of straw-dry leaves or decaying hay. This biological blanket is a masterful method of temperature control. It prevents the earth from freezing solid, allowing the garlic roots to silently elongate throughout the dead of winter. But its most profound value lies in carbon dioxide. As the very bottom layer of the mulch decomposes, it releases a dense cloud of CO2 that clings tightly to the soil surface. The tender, newly emerged leaves are instantly bathed in a CO2-rich atmosphere, heavily accelerating the process of photosynthesis, allowing the plant to grow with unshakable stability, despite the crushing pressures of the weather. And then, as late spring ripens, the hard-neck garlic varieties begin to push up a winding, curled flower stalk known as a scape. This blossom signifies reproduction, and the plant stands ready to redirect up to 40% of its stored energy to nourish the flower, draining the vital force from the bulb below. This is when the fifth secret, the delicate art of snapping the scape, is revealed. The very moment the scape curls into a perfect, complete circle, the Amish farmer will walk the rows, decisively snapping them off by hand. This quiet action sends a redirecting hormonal signal. The phase of sexual reproduction has closed. The plant instantly reverses its energy priorities, channeling all its might into asexual multiplication, fiercely swelling the root bulb during those final few weeks before the harvest. With one quiet, decisive snap, you have optimized the plant's physiological cycle, increasing your yield by up to 30% without spending a single copper coin. To support this surge of growth, the sixth secret leads us back to the miraculous network of the forest, the mycorrhizal fungal web. Cultivation methods reliant on heavy chemicals often strip the soil of a barren, lifeless environment. There, the garlic roots are quite lonely. They can only absorb the moisture they physically touch. But the farmers of old understood a different truth. They would venture into the deep woods, gather the dark leaf mold from beneath the canopy, and scatter it across their garlic beds. Though they did not know the terminology of microbiology, they understood that the forest possessed a nurturing ecosystem. Today, science has proven that this forest soil carries countless spores of symbiotic mycorrhizal fungi. These microscopic threads bind tightly to the garlic roots, stretching endlessly into the earth, multiplying the surface area for water absorption many times over. They dissolve trace minerals, pulling moisture from microscopic crevices that the garlic roots could never reach alone, and deliver them to the plant. In a graceful exchange, the garlic exudes natural sugars to feed the fungi. The introduction of highly concentrated chemical fertilizers can severely weaken this millennia-old pact. Inoculating the earth with wild mycorrhizae grants the plant a flawlessly free biological life support system. This system can never reach its full potential if the plant is imprisoned in a monoculture environment. The industrial field is a landscape of dreary monotony, with millions of garlic plants marching in rigid rows. This massive concentration creates a welcoming haven for pests and blights to spread, forcing mankind to rely on chemical warfare. The seventh secret of the Amish is the art of polyculture. They do not plant garlic in massive, isolated blocks. They interweave it with chamomile thyme and crisp lettuce. Garlic is a creature that thrives when surrounded by the right neighbors. Chamomile not only repels destructive insects, but also actively nurtures the growth of the soil's ecosystem. The sparsely spaced rows allow the wind to drift through, sweeping away the stagnant excess moisture that breeds mold. The varying depths of the root systems ensure they never fight over sustenance. Every single garlic plant is tended to with profound respect, rather than being treated as a rote unit of production. Finally, the eighth secret, the key to enduring longevity, the art of slow curing. The commercial system often harvests the garlic, slashes the leaves, and forces it through a heated drying process to rapidly reduce moisture and rush it to the market. This violent coercion can strip away both the flavor and the bulb's natural defensive armor. In stark contrast, when the Amish unearthed the garlic, its life cycle has not yet closed. It still carries vital nourishment and sweet sugars stored within its leaves and stalk. They are in no rush to prune anything away. They bundle the entire plant, leaves, roots, muddy soil, and all, and hang them upside down, dangling beneath the roof of a cool, breezy, dark barn for 4 to 6 weeks. In that quiet, suspended moment, the plant slowly consumes its remaining nourishment. The leaves gradually wither, patiently passing every last drop of energy and rich flavor down into the root. The garlic bulb truly grows larger and denser after experiencing this slow, patient cure. The flavor matures, becoming pungent, fierce, and sharp. The outer skin shrinks, pulling tightly around the cloves to form a flawless seal, guiding the garlic into a pristine state of dormancy, where it can be stored flawlessly for an entire year without the slightest decay. Vernalization awakens the DNA. Deep planting casts an unshakable anchor. Bone meal delivers the core nourishment. The mulch blanket breathes CO2. Snapping the scape redirects the energy. Mycorrhizal fungi forge a symbiotic web. Polyculture offers protection. And slow curing perfects the life cycle. These 8 secrets are not novel, flashy inventions. They are the crystallization of agrarian wisdom before the storm of industrialization swept through. When you grow garlic this way, you are doing something far greater than merely harvesting a crop. You are practicing a quiet method of true self-reliance. You are proving that greatness does not always require artificial intervention, and that nature, when met with profound understanding, always bestows immeasurable value. Take the steps to shed the heavy habits of dependency, reclaim the mastery of your own patch of earth, and quietly observe how Mother Earth replies with endless, enduring abundance.